of the world, to be holy and blameless in His sight. In love He predestined us to be adopted as His sons through Jesus Christ, in accordance with His pleasure and will.
Right? 4:1.
As a prisoner for the Lord, then I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received.
He chose us in Him before the creation of the world. That means before anything existed, before reality itself. Predestined. It's done before you were even born. You, as a child of God. Live for the calling that you have received. Live worthy in your life. Live worthy of that calling. Like I said, don't waste your life. Live it. That's living life to the full. Living life to the fullest means living life to the fullness of God. And then let's read 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 12.
Therefore, since we have such hope, we use great boldness of speech.
Read it again.
Therefore, since we have such hope, we use great boldness of speech.
Since we have such hope. Hope in what? Hope in Christ. Do you trust God? If I was to ask you if you trusted, what would you say? Ashish, do you trust God? How far are you willing to go for God?
However far it takes me. How
And
far
there
the
was-
east is from
You know,
the west.
it's funny, I was reading, when I check up my email, I have a Yahoo account, right? So when I check up my email, it has a little Yahoo News thing that comes up. And I heard about a pastor, a youth minister, right? Craziest story ever. He was teaching his class, right? His youth. And when all of a sudden a robber breaks in, this dude had an AK. That's serious. AK came up and shot up with the walls. He didn't kill people yet, just the walls. Everybody freaked. And he walked up and he held a gun to each of their heads and he said, "Do you believe in Jesus?" And if they said yes, he moved them to one side. If they said no, he moved them to the other. He said, "Do you love Jesus?" And he first, before he even said it, he said, "I am an atheist." So they knew what was coming. He says, "Do you believe in Jesus? Do you love Jesus?" And honestly, if looking at a ratio, you would see up to him. Up to him, people said no. That's the ratio. It was a group of 50. That much of a percentage just went the other way. And the other group said we're there. So next thing you know, the dude walks over to, the criminal walks over to the group that was, that said they did love God. And he loads up, he just goes, all just like pellets. It wasn't even real bullets, man. Pellets. Bandit takes off his mask. It's the youth minister's brother! It was a test. The youth minister planned it all along. Right? We say we love God, but when we're put in the pressure of life and death, what do we do? What would we actually do? If I actually got someone to do that, I know y'all would all yell at me. But how many of you would say yes? And how many of you would say no? We'll probably got this guy. He has most experience. Okay. But honestly, how many of you would? We often say we are willing to do so much in revivals and in New Year revivals and such. Retreats. They turn the lights off. The music starts playing. Start hearing Chris Phillip give him like his motivation. Playing the piano like this.
Oh yeah.
I love you, Chris. But no. We hear that and we just fall into this mood. Right? We're like, oh, I want to offer my life to Jesus. Praise Jesus. Week later, we're like, what happened? A week later, we're like, what? We say, I'm going to read my Bible every day. Week later, we'd be lucky if we can read it every month. Right? I mean, we say so much. How many of us actually live up to it? Now, there's this preacher that once said, you know, if you're going to speak it, live it. You know? It's kind of like that quote, you know, everyone's heard it. If you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. Don't be a hypocrite. Because then you're not being a Christian. What you're doing is you're being a peddler of the word. Or a false prophet. You're saying, I'm going to do this. You say all this, but you live completely different. Believe it or not, there are preachers out there that will do that too. Many preachers. They'll come up there with their bad comb-overs, their blue powder suits. Inside joke. And they will talk. Some will be really good looking. The good looking ones is apparently what you fall for. But you hear these false preachers talk, and they even fall for this. They can't even walk the walk. And so when they preach, guess what? The people that are hearing their message can't do that either. Live it. Live it. Don't just walk it. There was I forgot who said it. There's this quote that I once heard, and it says, you know, don't just read the Bible. Don't just study the Bible. Live the Bible. And honestly, if there are some of you here that do lack that, because we all lack something, right? Somewhere. We all have something to work on. Work at it. See, it's all for the glory of God. So this is what, there's got to be something more. We always say that, there's got to be something more. Right? That's what one of my friends, he's agnostic. And he said, you know, there's got to be something more to this. And that's why I'm not atheist, because there's got to be something more. And he's right. I just don't see why he doesn't realize, you know, that more is Christ. But there's got to be something more than what seems to exist. Because you were born to go higher. You were born for adventure. You were made to dream bigger. If you don't have a passion worth dying for, then you have nothing worth living for. You are made for so much more. For some of you, that is so true, because you are made for so much more. Some of you sell yourselves so short. It said you are a child of the Most High God. If you trust God and trust your relationship with Christ, then you should have nothing to fear. If God is for us, who can stand against us? What can mortal man do to me? Don't live for the things of this world. They're passing away. But live for glory and grace perfected. And you know, when you're living for glory is not never falling. It's rising every time you do. Like I said, we all lack. For all our good deeds, the Bible says, all our good deeds before God are like filthy rags. And all of us have fallen short of the glory of God. Yeah, we're human. We make mistakes. It's what humans do. But don't just live in your mistakes. Keep moving forward. Keep pressing on. Perseverance. Perseverance. Don't just sit here. It's like, oh, I messed up. There's so many people in our community that think like that. That if you do something bad, then you must be bad for the rest of your life. And that is not true at all. If you make a mistake, if you fall down, then you pick yourself back up. You know, Robert Louis Stevenson, a renowned theologian, once said,
Dr. Jacob,
saints are just sinners who keep on walking. Keep walking in the Spirit. You know, like I said, I know a lot of different people, a lot of different faiths. There's a Buddhist saying that goes, you know, if we're in the right direction, all we have to do is keep on walking. You're already in the right direction. Keep on walking. If you fall down, pick yourself back up. If you need help, pray to God, and God will help you. But don't ever lose focus on the prize. Because time is fleeting. If you don't pick yourself back up, and if you're just going to wait, right? If you don't keep on moving and striving for the prize, as Paul puts it, whether you move or not does not matter in the end. Because whether you move or not will not affect life. Life will keep on moving without you. It describes it as a race, you know. Faith is like a race. Race against what? It's against life, it's against adversity. It's against anything that's against God. And if you are just not going to persevere, and if you are just going to stay where you are, then you will stay where you are for the rest of your life. And you're not going to get anywhere. No. You are meant for so much more. And you are meant to do so much. There's a thing, it's like my philosophy now, sort of. You know, be who you were called to be. Be who you were always meant to be. And it will be. If you let Christ do it, it will be. Now, like I said, I can't promise you that everything is easy. In fact, God straight up will tell you that it won't be. He says the world's going to hate you because they hate me. No one's going to like you because they never liked me. And it says that only few, that the path is narrow and only